Good evening, everyone. How was the tea and coffee? Good, good. All right. I think people are still coming in. So before everybody joins in, anyone would like to share some wow moments or aha moments from today?
It's a great opportunity. I feel the one thing is meeting unknown people and getting to know by end of the day or by end of this session, and meeting all these lovely people with the great knowledge and all how it's revolving around the world. So everything is well organized. So it's just a wow moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have somebody else from there. Yes, please. Okay. We would really like to hear all of your experience as a volunteers. It means a lot to us. Yes,
Hello.
please.
Wow moment was that keynote 2 session by Srimati ji. It was the top notch for the day.
Thank you.
This is my first time at Regional Scrum Gathering, and I'm sure I'm a repeat audience henceforth. We always talk about in the Agile world about human interactions, and this is what we are actually doing here. Since the very first moment when we entered here, there has been a lot of positive energy, and there have been a lot of lively interactions in the sessions and outside the sessions. So something really, very rarely it happens that we actually practice what we preach. So one of these moments.
Thank you so much, sir. Anyone from this side?
Yes, so where shall I begin? I think the beginning was fantastic with Mr. Deshpande's session, then followed by Space Kids. I think she has inspired a lot of parents here, I hope, to enroll for the space exploration. And then lately, just before the session, I went to the Gen AI session. That was fantastic. That was led by Mr. Vijay Wade and Ketan Kulkarni. So that goes a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, as our respected Home Minister says, आप chronology समझिए. So, jokes apart from chronology. So, from starting, beginning, firstly, why Agile? Then we have very motivating keynote by ma'am. Then what's latest in the market? AI. So that's the track I'm very much interested in. But till now, I'm not feeling a single moment like which is not wow. Everything is wow. Thank you to all the organizers over here.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else would like to share something?
Yeah, all the sessions were great, and the wow moment were the entrepreneurial khatta to both the sessions, and it inspired me. And definitely one day I will come to that stage to give my entrepreneurial speech.
मुझे पीछे भी जाना चाहिए. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
very, very, interesting to hear all of you, and it is really motivating for all of us as a volunteers when, we are working to make this event happen, and when we hear such a good feedback, it really means a lot. So thank you so much. Any last person?
Who wants to be our volunteers in terms of feedback?
We do have Mrs. Srimati, ma'am.
It's an awesome organizing, because for volunteering, so many people can come. I just saw here, I mean, because everywhere, you are working 9 to 5, 9 to 8, people get so drained and they say, my friend is invited, this one is invited. I know there are good speakers and everything, but still I don't think today we can make it. So we keep giving reasons. That's what I've heard everywhere. But salutations, and I take a bow. Great audience, great organizing. I mean, hats off to you all. Every bit was good. And his session, Pagalpan jitna hota hai, I think all the Pagals are here. That much I can see. Everybody is Pagal. I thought language was a barrier. Seedha. 16 years, I also lost English. I wrote to the Consul General, dear sir, for Consul General. Dear sir, I will take all children. I am responsible. Itna battar tha mera English. So that way I know you're a fantastic, I really enjoyed both your sessions. I know we've met in Shark Tank, but yet here it is a pride moment to share stage together. Thank you so much for, bringing all the Pagals together. Thank you.
I wanted to say, ma'am, that your session was extremely motivating. We did not had a chance to look at the video, so if we have time, I would request the organizers to play the video. Thank you.
All right. With that, just a small announcement before we proceed. So those who have not collected their water bottles, those are kept at the desk behind this hall, and you can collect it before leaving for the day today. All right. With this, feedback हो गया, चाय हो गई, कॉफी हो गई, अभी चर्चे का समय है. So let's start with the charcha, panel discussion. So for the panel discussion, I would like to invite our panelist for today.
The Bamboo Man, Yogesh Shinde, founder of Bamboo India.
Next is Mr. Dada Saheb Bhagat, founder of India's first design platform, Do Graphics.
The third one is Space Human for the kids. Dr. Srimati Kesan, founder and CEO of Space Kids India.
Next is Mr. Abhijit Devle from TA to Every, head of development.
And the next one we have is Mr. Manoj Apte, head of learning and development in Persistence System.
Panelists तो आ गए, अभी moderator कहाँ है? Okay, we got the moderator, our very own Meenakshi ma'am, Meenakshi Iyer. So Meenakshi is the founder and principal of North Star Service Solutions and Services LLC, and she is also being the leader and coach for training the mid-level tech leaders, women in tech based in the US. All right, so with this, let's everybody clap for all the panelists and moderators, and we will hand it over to you. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome everyone, and it's such an honor and pleasure to be here. And as a solopreneur, I definitely consider the ability to integrate my life and work and the ability to choose that. So I was able to build my trip to India around this conference. And so it's such an honor to be here with all of you and with this stellar panel. I'm a little out of breath because that's what the 5 of them are doing to me. It's such an honor to be here, and the topic we've chosen for today's panel discussion is India Rising, Opportunities and Challenges. And what better bunch of people to speak to about that than who we have here. So once again, it's such an honor and pleasure. I'm going to start off with a quick round of introductions. This is going to be a conversation. We have met a little bit earlier to prep, and I'm really excited for what this illustrious panel has in store for you, and the ability that they have to build on each other's thoughts and ideas. So I'm definitely excited, and I hope that so are you. I would like to start off with a quick round of introductions. Here we have Mr. Yogesh Shinde, and we all several of us attended his session. He's the founder of Bamboo India, and is on a mission. It's a mission-based company and business. It's a first-generation startup founded in 2016, and it aims at building a perfect replacement for plastic, and as a way to help everyone build a sustainable way of living. To his right, we have Dada Saheb Bhagat. Several of us again attended the Entrepreneur Kata. We met him, and we loved hearing his story, and we hope that you'll be able to share some of it right now as well. So he is again a first-generation founder, startup of the world's first India-based design startup, Do Graphics. Lovely to have you here. Dr. Srimati Kesan, Needs no introduction. All of us have met her in the morning keynote. Founder and CEO of Space Kids India, an Indian aerospace startup pioneering in design, fabrication, and launch of small satellites, spacecrafts, and ground systems. And the amazing work that you do in building India's future with India's future. That's just absolutely fantastic. Yep. Abhijit Devale, who's an engineering and technology leader with Tirthovre, and he comes with a proven record in building high-performing, result-oriented teams with an expertise and exposure in multiple domains, including healthcare, infrastructure, monitoring, and telecom. Thank you so much for being here today. Manoj Apte, a technologist turned learning and development executive leader, heads the L&D function at Persistent Systems. And I had the pleasure of listening to you at last year's panel, and I'm so thrilled to be sharing space today with you. Thank you so much. So that's the panel, and what we're talking about, the title, India Rising Opportunities and Challenges. I'm sure, as someone, I do want to share this, as someone who has lived outside of India for the last 16 years, I thrive on every single victory that India experiences. And boy, what a decade and what a year India has had, yeah? We have arrived, and this is India's decade. Some people say it's India's century. We are now the world's fifth largest economy, surpassing countries like the UK and France. We are the world's largest consumer market, the world's 8th largest importer, 10th largest exporter. 2 years ago, we had close to 82 billion, that's billion with a B, dollars worth of foreign direct investment in the country. And Indian cuisines, films, sports, movies, the arts, these are just a few of the most influential exports of our country. We are proud of the Made in India brand. We have so many epitomes here sitting here with us who do this Make in India work day in and day out. So India is rising, and we are here for it. And today, at the Regional Scrum Gathering here in Pune, as we celebrate agility, transformation, and intelligence, it's only perfect that we talk about it, talk about India and the emerging vitality that we're seeing in the country. So with that being said, I wanted to kick it off with Yogesh. The first question that I have for you, Yogesh, is what are you personally most excited about India's future?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks. So for me, yes, as you correctly said, India is rising. It is already rised. So much big opportunity. So we have more than 140 million people right now, most of youngs. And earlier there was a tendency like 5 years back, what is happening in Europe, it transfer to India, it takes around 5 to 6 years time. The trend is like that. But nowadays, as you see the AI, it's the development is going parallelly, India as well as the West. So I think India is already arrived, like everyone is knowing about what is startup ecosystem and eco-culture, thanks to everyone who is helping the startups and this economy. And I think the way ahead, things are going in this way or even more faster. As you seen, the Shark Tank is just one of the example, like in every aspect, like food, movie, technology, agriculture, everywhere a startup is coming and they are become a unicorn. And so I think that is this is the best time. We are very fortunate that we already seen the transformation from black and white to color and now HD 4K. So similarly, we are witnessing all these startup ecosystem in front of us. So we are the only people who knows the metros are building and this infrastructure are building, and we are very proud of, because henceforth the new generation will see the metro is already there, but we have suffered the pain and we saw the witness. So I think
yes,
we are very fortunate.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. What would you like to add? Abhijit, Dr. Srimati.
Coming from the space industry, I would say that Gaganyaan mission is the most sorted mission. Putting a human in space. People will say when there are so many problems on Earth, why a moon why a man in space? But to know Earth, you need to travel space. So that is the reason we are trying to build this ecosystem and this space industry. So I'm extremely happy because we have had 16 missions. Never before have we had missions in this number. And Chandrayaan 3 made us proud. Mangalyaan, the very first time it made us proud. Chandrayaan 1, identifying that there is water on the moon by India, and that too in the most economical way. That's the best part. Even now, if you see, the budgets are absolutely stringent. What we are doing is, Sriharikota is in such a strategic location that we are able to bring in business from Europe and America.
Yep.
Strong contender is SpaceX, but we are giving real tough. India's own satellites are only about 184, but whereas we have launched more than 400 satellites of international countries, which means there is so much of money coming into the country.
Yep.
So our space economy is developing. So it is just that it needs to be understood by the last person of the country that this industry needs that support, hand-holding, and it is going to boom and bring back that economy to the country.
Absolutely.
So if that is there, I think, government will start funding in and pumping more money into ISRO.
Yep, so well said there. And I do want to add a perspective here. I have found that places and companies and countries that have a lot of resources at disposal, creativity often suffers because you can throw a lot at something to solve a problem. It's in places that have constraints where creativity thrives. And I love how you quoted that example of the space economy. Absolutely.
It's beautiful, and not only that, we actually know to build our capabilities with the least amount of money invested in that.
Yep.
That is very important. Even the trawlers that are used to take the rocket to the launch pad. If you see what a NASA is using or a European Space Agency is using, we are not even 1% of that. But yet, the success rate of the workhorse PSLV, 100%.
Yep.
So that is the pride of our country and our pride of our scientists.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think I will use it.
You from the software IT industry, what's your perspective?
Yes, so when you asked me that question and when these guys started to answer, I said, okay, what is it that, how do I relate all of this to software? But when Yogesh started to answer on trains and how we are going to go further, I started to look back and see where it is coming from. So and we are all part of industry. So I'm sure you guys all know how the industry evolved. We came from industry 2.0 to industry 4.0, 2.0 where it was all labor centric. We used to call it as a blue collar job. To industry 4.0 where it is more of a professional job. We call it a white collar job. Right now, what these guys are talking about and what we are experiencing today is we are moving away from this labor set, blue collar, white collar job with the introduction of artificial intelligence, new planning techniques, and more globalization and all. We are moving away from some colored job to a more vibrant stuff where the artificial intelligence is actually taking away a lot of mundane, repetitive work. Right? So once we get all of this mundane, repetitive work away from all of us, we already have come to a professional age, maybe 10 years back, where we have a lot of brain power sitting in this room and all over the country. If we take away that laborious activities from them using the artificial intelligence, how can we utilize that brain power? This is what he was talking about and all, right? So, and if we do that, where we are heading towards is we are shaping the future. We have kind of seen this happening when we encountered COVID 2-3 years back. We rolled out, being a software person and part of a company, we rolled out certain things using artificial intelligence to support the industry and the mankind. Right? So what I see now is we are probably moving from some white collar, blue collar jobs to creators of tomorrow. And we have 3 of them sitting right here, right? So I see it getting into a Vishwakarma mode. 3 here and maybe more sitting there.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Manoj and...
Sure. So first of all, absolutely thrilled to be part of this panel with esteemed people like all of you. And thanks Vijay and team to invite me here. I don't think I am anybody after Dr. Anand speaking this morning, representing Persistent. But just to, the question is, what is that we are really excited about, right? So as I am a learning and development function, I have taken my notes, right? So I'm kind of, done my preparation. But just to give you a quick little story, what I'm really excited about is our decision to come back to India in 2005 from the US. And I don't think that was a wrong decision, right? So I'm super excited that, we took that decision, having the faith in, what we can do in this country. And I think right now, as we speak, we are in the right spot, the sweet spot, as they call it. I think we have pretty much, all the masalas that we can imagine to make the best recipe. And I think, this is the right time. Everything is going in our favor. And I was just doing some research just to build on what you just read out about the overall growth, the funding that we are getting, et cetera, et cetera. So we are consistently growing at about 6-7%, year on year. And we are close to a $4 trillion economy, and we can be about $20 trillion economy in the next 6 to 7 years. So you can actually triple your money in 6 years, right? So, I mean, you just stay invested and your money will go 3 times. The other thing, if you really look at it, and what I'm also excited about is, and I think Persistent as an organization is a very small little drop in the big ocean. And I can tell you a quick story where I joined this company 3.5 years back. And it kind of, you can extrapolate that story to this country, right, that we are living in. So we were about 10,000 people, $500 million company, exactly 3 years back, right? So the money doubled. Our revenue is more than $1 billion in 3 years. Our headcount went from 10,000 to 24,000. So I think it is doable, and we are talking about this kind of a mad growth during the thicks of pandemic. So I think the kind of resilience that, not only just Persistent, just because I'm representing Persistent, but as a country, the kind of resilience and, the way we quickly adapt to the situations is absolutely phenomenal. And if we could do it during pandemic, in the steady state, it will be even far better than that. So super excited.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your personal story as well. And anyone that's considering coming back to India, that was some good financial advice too. What about you, Dada Singh? What are you personally excited about?
अभी जितना स्टार्टअप का इकोसिस्टम हम लोग देख रहे हैं, तो प्रीवियसली मैंने देखा था कि बहुत सारे जो सॉफ्टवेयर है, आज भी बहुत सारे सॉफ्टवेयर हम लोग बाहर के कंट्रीज़ के यूज़ कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आज ऐसे बहुत सारे सॉफ्टवेयर इंडिया के लिए बन रहे हैं और गवर्नमेंट भी बहुत स्टार्टअप के लिए सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. तो आगे वाला जनरेशन है कि मेक इन इंडिया और एक्सपोर्ट, जैसे टेक में बहुत सारा इंडिया में बन रहा है, तो बाकी भी प्रोडक्ट वाइज भी हम लोग इंडिया में बना रहे हैं. और मैं बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप या हमारा भी प्रोडक्ट जैसे डिज़ाइन टेम्पलेट बना रहे हैं, तो हम लोग प्रीमियम एसेट्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं. वर्ल्ड वाइड हमारा मार्केट है, हम लोग इंडिया में, तो ऐसे बहुत सारे स्टार्टअप्स को मिलता हो कि जो इंडिया में बना रहे हैं और बाहर को ये करें. तो यही आई थिंक छोटे छोटे लेवल पे एग्जीक्यूशन करके इंडिया का इकोनॉमी बड़ा हो सकता है आगे जाके.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
तो आप ही से शुरुआत करते हैं अगले क्वेश्चन की. अब तक जो हमको सफलता मिली है, उसके सबसे बड़े एक दो कारण क्या हैं? What are the top 1 or 2 reasons for our successes, past successes?
आज तक मुझे लगता है एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और जो इनोवेशन हो रहा है, जो वर्ल्ड वाइड भी देखिए जितने कंपनीज को चला रहे हैं, तो सभी सीईओज इंडिया के हैं, या टेक्नोलॉजी देखे डेवलपर्स भी इंडिया के हैं। तो सेम थिंग अभी इंडिया के साथ भी वही हो रहा है कि जो टेक्नोलॉजी का डेवलपमेंट है या बाकी सभी प्रोडक्ट्स डेवलप हो रहे हैं, तो इसी वजह से इंडिया का आज इंफ्रा या इसमें ग्रोथ आगे जा रहा है।
Yeah, of course.
While we celebrate this success and say that we are in the sweet spot and everything, taking from your point, I think the rude truth is we are still not there. We are still not there. When China can do 17.9 trillion economy, we are only at 3.8. So what success are we talking about? And the population of China, they feel that that is the strength. They've converted it as an opportunity. What are we doing? Still women, you know, at workforce, where are we? Where is the equality at the glass ceiling? There is a glass ceiling of only about 16% of women in the top notch.
Yep.
So where are we talking about women economy? Students, when you take, most of the students, you know, who wish to remain in the country are now encouraged by the startup fund and grant. But predominantly, still, children want to go away to the West. Are we able to control brain drain? No. What are we doing? So where are we? So how are we to celebrate this? We have to be questioning. And especially at forums like this, we have to come together. And it is not only, now there is hybrid work system and everything. And we've been talking that everybody wants to do something, but to take that first step, there is a small hitch. If everybody can take that step, if every woman thinks that, you know, I am not going to think about billions and trillions, but at least I educate one child and empower one child, I think India's, you know, definitely we can think about, you know, going past China. So all these little things, I think, should be taught from the school level. These cannot be inculcated when they are suffering with college loans and university loans and when they have to go back. And sir had mentioned about the blue collar, white collar. Again, I would like to differ here. Why people come 100% FDI and all that? Because they like to take back the money back to their country. Right?
Fair point.
Right?
Fair point.
So we may wear white collar dress, but still they consider us as blue collared. Be it any of the industry, they treat us like that. You know, from space industry, Artemis is being signed. Okay, it was signed. Is there any technology transfer? No. NASA doesn't want to do technology transfer. What they are looking at is, sorry to use this term, but they want to use cheap scientific brains here in India, and they want to build the moon economy. How is it fair? We have the capability, we have the capacity. It is invest in the right things, and I think then we can move forward.
You bring up a great point about, and this was something Dada Saheb, आपके इसमें भी थोड़ा काफी discussion हुआ था इसके बारे में. We talked about language, we talked about English speaking skills, we talked about access to education and things like that. There's a huge piece here which is around decolonizing our hearts and minds. हम लोग जब तक अपने आप में अपने बारे में क्या सोचते हैं वो नहीं बदलेंगे. A lot of what you're saying, Dr. Srimati, is hard to do. Because it's the perception that the West or the rest of the world has about us. Do we share? I think we are guilty of sharing some of the same perceptions.
They still call us snake charmers. They were so surprised when Chandrayaan landed, the entire community went like, oh, they are not able to build toilets for the community and they want to do Chandrayaan launch. This was exact words, you know, in a New York Post.
Right.
Okay? So audacity. How can they do that?
Right.
Are we not fighting for it? No. Because we feel America is a superpower, Russia is a superpower, and we Indians are born here just to work. Work, work, work.
That perception
that
is...
mentality needs to change.
Yes.
And that needs to change from the school level.
I agree.
Not when we start working.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
So, great points. Absolutely can't agree more. But I think while there is a long way to go, and there is no doubt about it, but as I said, I think we are in a sweet spot where we have been doing the right things, right? And as our CEO and also Dr. Anand and everyone says that, you know, we are doing something right, otherwise we won't grow, right? So I think the positive message, at least from that, the way I look at it is, you know, we have absolutely the right resources, right? So there are three things which I had actually noted down, which I think are in the right direction. And, you know, all of that should lead to further development of this country. One is definitely the consistent growth, right? And that doesn't come very easily. So there is definitely something right that we are doing. Second is the policies, right? And the third thing is resources. Resources is not just the natural resources, infrastructure, but even people. So if you really look at the population of India and China, we are pretty much at par. And all the other countries, I think there is a serious challenge when it comes to young population. You look at Europe, you look at Japan, they have some serious issues. I mean, they're actually importing people from other countries. And I think we are again in a very sweet spot where we have probably the maximum number of adults and the working population in this country. And that will sustain and it will continue in the next at least 2 or 3 decades, right? Yeah. Talking about education, I can't agree more. I think we are not there yet, you know, and if you look at, you know, some of the, and I would use that word pedagogy, right? So I don't know how many of you are aware of that. Pedagogy is basically the methodology of teaching, right? And, you know, when we were looking at different schools in Pune, when we moved from Bangalore to Pune, you know, there is this international board, like IB school, right? Now, if you look at, you know, the pedagogy that is used there and what is used in a typical Indian school, it's completely diagonally opposite, right? And we might sit here and criticize, yeah, you know, it's a very expensive school, it doesn't make sense, it's all, you know, gas, right? But if you really look at their methodology and pedagogy, there is so much of goodness in that methodology because they actually talk a lot of practical things. Everything happens hands-on. Everything is research-oriented. And I was surprised, and my kids didn't go to IB school because even I didn't believe in that, right? I said, nahi yaar, koi matlab nahi. Let us send them to the traditional schools, right? And I was amazed. Someone told me the other day that they teach design thinking starting 5th or 6th grade. And I was so happy to hear that because I myself a practitioner of design thinking. Right? I actually conduct workshops in design thinking, and I know the power of, you know, that methodology. So I completely agree with you. I think it requires a serious change in the way our kids are taught in our country. And I think it all actually starts there. And it just continues from there to the, you know, moment you reach the corporate life where we go with the same mentality. Because now I am heading the learning function. When it comes to learning and assessments, beat the level of the employee, no matter what number of years of experience, they will always look at the assessment as an exam. And they will prepare for that exam and they will crack that exam. हम लोग punter है exam clear करने में. We are really smart, right? But how much do you really are able to apply on the ground is again the biggest challenge, right? Because the way we have been taught is to only clear exams. Right?
Adding to that, it is to clear the loans also. parental loans.
Absolutely.
And not only that, I have not become an engineer, mera beta engineer banega, usko pasand hai, na pasand hai, forget it.
Absolutely.
He has to do that.
Yeah.
And talking about advocates and at the Supreme Court and all that, you know, we do not have, they are actually doing more of real estate than practicing law. So many cases pending. Many cases pending. And, you know, where are we heading?
So this whole discussion has pivoted to one of the questions that I was going to ask you a little bit later, which is around
We already knew the questions.
I'm sorry?
We already knew the questions.
Yes, I know. And I can see how you're skipping over a few. So
Yeah,
I
just wanted to add on top of, probably because I am more optimistic person, because I hear a lot of pessimism. We are bad, we are bad. That's fine, we are bad, but there has to be something good, right? We have reached where we are now because there is something good.
Yes.
We probably did not have the world's best education system, but we have created most efficient engineers in the world.
And given them to America.
Wherever it is.
Google CEO.
Okay, so hold on.
All the CEOs.
We can have that discussion separately, because
So I don't want to say
we have not even given 0.2% of our educated engineers anywhere out of this country. 99% and more of people, educated engineers that this country has created, are in this country. So we have created world's biggest STEM. Okay. Second is what success we have achieved is this country and all of us have the biggest survival instinct. If you see, 3 years back we were into a pandemic. The whole world was saying that India will not survive. We not only survived, we thrived. We have done a lot of different things. Now I represent T2Every, so I will talk what all things we have done. From nowhere from the world, and I am not going to talk about vaccines and all, but nowhere from the world, we transformed our software from more of a thick ones to web enabled. We did web enablement in 6 months. Who does that? And it all was done from here, in Pune, in India, right? We changed our way of working. Everybody went home and started to work from home. While we were into pandemic, we were counting about 47% of productivity, and 47% of productivity is huge. Right now, we are into a hybrid mode. The pandemic has gone. Pandemic, everybody is at home, so you don't have anything else to do. So your productivity obviously increases. We are now into hybrid mode.
Not true for everyone. Because us women, we do 3.5 hours of unpaid work every day on top of 10 hours of work day.
Right,
so some of us didn't have it that good.
And I agree, I cannot agree more. So I'm talking about the productivity measured by a corporate. Productivity of women is probably 300%. Okay, so I cannot agree more, and I can see even all the women employees that we have.
That was a good save.
So that's...
one more thing.
One last thing. So when we were doing all of these things, these are the success stories that we have had. And now you couple it with what is the capacity that we have built, and see where we are. And that's the story that I would like to, dwell on more and more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm completely agree with Abhijit. I'm also very optimistic. And not only IT engineer we are exporting, nowadays we are exporting prime ministers, right? so
we love to claim.
So
don't we?
Not only IT experts, right? So we are proud of that. The East India Company which ruled us, now their Prime Minister Indian. Ireland Prime Minister Indian, right? Mauritius Prime Minister Indian. Fiji Prime Minister Indian. So not only brain drain, sometimes it's good, right? So and one more thing I would like to say, we are Indian, we cherish very small moments. So, and we are very much happy, even though I love cricket, so I can tell you one simple incident, like even though the score is 374, and when India kick off with Sachin Tendulkar first 4 of the first over, we start clapping. That does not mean that we are waiting till the end of 50th over, right? So we should enjoy the journey. So we are the part of journey.
Thank you for that, Yogesh.
So I think we are, as I told, nation building is not a one-day activity or 2-day activity. It takes years and years, right? So we are very young. So we are 75 years old means we are very young, right? So I think, and our life is hardly, right, 70 years max, I'm saying. So we are not there when India will reach $10 trillion dollars or $50 trillion dollars. We should happy that $3 trillion dollar we crossed, $5 trillion dollar we crossed. We should be happy, and every step, whatever we do, it has to be celebrated, right? So I will just give you an example. We always say कि German loves their football very widely and they celebrate like a crazy. So I was there in Germany in 2010 when they reached to semi-final, and I thought, यार हमको कब मिलेगा ऐसा chance? Even the crazy nation. And the next year we won the World Cup, and I saw the celebration in Mumbai itself. Then I realized, अरे हम तो उसके बाप हैं.
Thank you, and thank you for that. Interesting. It was turning to be a debate. I was thinking about putting up one more of those and having you both over there.
Devil's advocate. You need a devil's advocate always.
Yes.
So a panel of 4 men, they need to be one devil.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Absolutely. So, Dada Sahib, back to you. सबने आपसे माइक छीन लिया एकदम से, तो वापस आपके हाथ में. आपको क्या लगता है? What are the couple of big lessons that we can learn from our failures?
आज तक जितने भी प्रोडक्ट्स बन रहे हैं, लाइक हम लोग मोबाइल्स भी यूज़ करें, उसमें भी गूगल है या एंड्रॉयड्स या ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम है या डिज़ाइन के भी सभी सॉफ्टवेयर है, तो हम लोग बाहर से यूज कर रहे हैं, तो हम लोग सभी मनी वहाँ पे भेज रहे हैं, लाइक बना भी इंडिया में रहे लेकिन वहाँ पे भेज रहे हैं, लाइक तो इसमें कुछ तो हमें ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स बनाने चाहिए या हमारे कुछ ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स चाहिए वर्ल्ड वाइड जाए, अभी जो जैसे बन रहे हैं या और भी कुछ, तो हमें ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स बनाना चाहिए कि जो कि जैसे ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी थी ऐसे ही सिमिलरली अभी डिजिटली वो कंपनीज है, तो इसको हमें कहीं तो चेंज करना चाहिए. तो इस वे में हम टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू जा सकते हैं या बाकी भी ऐसे बहुत सारे एक्सपोर्ट या वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी पे थोड़ा इम्पैक्ट करना चाहिए.
Thank you for that. That's what you are doing with your company. So
वैसे भी हम लोग वही डिजाइन टेम्पलेट के साथ वही कर रहे हैं.
हाँ.
Yes.
बढ़िया.
Thank you.
Manoj?
Yeah, so I think I'll just complete my earlier point and we kind of digressed. So I was not being pessimistic. I was basically trying to make my point that, we are talking about learning from the past, right? And I think with whatever we said that, we have this challenge and that challenge, we are still growing at 6%, right? So if we can fix some of those little things in our pedagogy, in our education system, right? Look at even our spend in the research, right? And I was doing some comparison, and I may not be accurate in my numbers, but from our spend point of view, we spend about 0.7% of the money on the research. China spends about 2 to 3% or sometimes even more. So I think that also shows the commitment that the country has in terms of, how much of, IP that you want to really create. I'll give you another example. Back in, about 2005-06, when we moved back from the US, joined Siemens, and I was part of the offshore development center, ODC as we used to call it. Now it is GCC or whatever. And, our boss was German, and his passion was to, get the best possible work to India, right? And when the Germans would visit India, our office, in fact, Vijay and Manju and some of them, we were all together in the same team. They would still think that people travel on elephants in India. Right? This is 2005, right? How would you imagine them giving us the top-notch work, right? When they still have that kind of a perception, right? And today, when I look at some of the work that many of these companies are doing, maybe even Siemens, I don't know about that much now, but at least in Persistent and many other IT product engineering companies, I'm so proud that, when I conduct some of my workshops, when the clients are here with us, and we are conducting a common workshop with our employees are talking to the client their language, their product language, their business language. They are actually helping them solve how can they help them to increase their market share in Asia. And I was so proud when I see that, boss, we have cracked that now, right? So we are no longer seen as the work thrown over the fence, but we are actually have started kind of taking the ownership of many of these product development kind of companies, right? So I think that is the change that I see. So there is a lot of change that I see happening, at least from our industry point of view. And, as a company, as I said, we have been growing almost 20-30% year on year. If Persistent can do it, I'm sure the whole country can do it.
Thank you for sharing that. I was reminded of something when you shared the people in India still travel on elephants. I don't know if it is still a thing, but when I used to work here, and I have had the experience of working in an IT service company here, that all our clients were in North America and Europe, and then working for a company in the US that had operations in India. And I noticed that some of the things had not changed in the last 15, 20 years. So this thing called client visit, what do? We deck out our offices and we deck ourselves out. Women employees are asked to come in saris. Yeah? Can we please stop that? And this is what I mean. What is the perception? Yeah, we have Rangoli, we have the Har, Tika, Nariyal, all of that. So all this goes to just reiterate that perception of we still travel on elephants. So what are we doing about that? That's what came to my mind. I just wanted to bring that up here.
So I tend to differ. And I think, the whole idea, and it's not because we also do that. I think the point here is, it's all about creating that experience. And it's not about, showing off something. But I think it's actually a very proud thing if you actually do that. I mean, why do we have to be dressed in our Western clothes when the clients are coming in suit and boot, right? I mean, we are still able to deliver. We are still able to, work shoulder to shoulder with our customers, irrespective of the way we are dressed. So I think it's no harm in depicting our culture and our values by putting the pagdi and the tika and I don't see anything wrong with that. And in fact, I would rather double down on that so that even the next generation, at least tries to preserve a little bit of that. Because otherwise we are just moving away from all of this, right?
Yeah, I might need another of those podiums with you, so we'll do that later. I agree with the point you made. I think that when we do something that makes it special for their visit, which is different from what we do normally, then the focus becomes on the experience. That's my personal perspective. Becomes on the experience as opposed to the skill that we have to show.
But I think the point is, it's actually turning that perception into reality. Because otherwise it is only spoken and talked about.
Point.
Right? But if they see us dressed that way, and if they see ki actually these guys there is a lot of humility. They are so simple people, right? They don't really carry, much air. I don't think there is anything wrong in doing that. And it just validates that perception.
Fair point. Thank you. Now I forgot the original question, which was...
No, Meenakshi, you asked about this, the challenges or
yes.
Last 10 years, what happened, and we are in this...
What lessons can we learn from the failures? Yeah.
So, this might be a very political answer, because the election is coming, right? So, your leader should be very strong, okay? Because in Bamboo, I will tell you a very simple example, because I don't want to be any party spokesperson. Before 2017, so those who are not attended my session, I will just repeat some of the line. So India is world's second largest bamboo growing country, okay? And till 2017, there was two laws in India. So one law was saying bamboo is a tree. And as per the Indian Forest Act 1927, which is written by British, they said bamboo is a tree, you are not allowed to cut. And one law say bamboo is a grass, so you are allowed to cut. So it is completely depend on the police or the forest department who caught your vehicle, right? So if you pass the money, the bamboo is a grass. And last 70 years, last 65 years, this is the happening across India. But thanks, this government comes and they identify this problem and they change the law. Now, all the Indian Forest Act, bamboo is a grass.
Grass.
So, so we need that kind of a leadership who at least dare to go that position and change the law or remove this kind of a law, because there are still so many laws are there where it is easy, the red tapeism, encouraging red tapeism. And now this leadership since last 10 years, so I am the example, I am not giving anyone. I am the example, I left my job in Germany, high paid job, and I came to India because I really inspired the way Indian ecosystem or startup culture is building. And I thought, okay, it's a good time to be a participant to the nation building activity, no matter how small he is doing. But वो कहते ना कि कौन कहता है आसमान में सुराग नहीं हो सकता, एक पत्थर तो उछाल के देखो यारो.
Thank you so much. And you know what you shared is a perfect example of another question that I was going to ask you, which I know you know what the question is, which is what is one big opportunity that we have as we look at India's future? And that's a great example that you called out, is really cutting through the red tape and the public-private participation in that, the engagement in that to do that. So now I want to extend that question to everyone. I see you're ready to say something, so I'll start with you.
Yeah, actually, I was going to expand or probably even generalize on what he was saying on here. What are the lessons learned?
Okay.
The example that he gave was what it tells us. It's a very nice example and really, really true example, right? But what it tells us is, don't just follow, think. Think what makes sense, and then do. So, what we need to do, the lesson from all of those things is, not to remain a follower and start to think. And that's what we do with Agile, where the decision making is distributed. When we sit in our company and plan a project, plan a product, plan a scrum, plan a feature, who's taking the decision? We managers, at least in our in Tieto Every, managers don't take those decisions. Managers facilitate, right? So and the leaders also facilitate, right? Why is that? That is because, not just because we are following Agile, it's also because what we are also learning from the stuff that we have done in the past and the mistakes that we have had. If the wisdom does not come by age, the wisdom comes by experience, exposure, and practice, and that can be anybody. So somebody who's just on a position does not mean that you're doing anything, right? So when you're working, don't look at what is the outcome that I'm going to get. Look at what is the value. One of the sessions this was discussed today also, and what it means is what is the value that you're going to bring, which is what we constantly look at and figure out what is the value that we are bringing in, and that's exactly the lesson that we can take from our mistakes in the past.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Dr. Srimati?
Well, I wouldn't say that mistakes in the past, because as we grow, the previous years, whatever we've done, we always feel there could have been something better, something better, because our brain capacity is developing. As we develop, so is our systems developing. So when the systems develop, definitely there's going to be a change. Whether you are doing it or somebody is doing it, the change automatically happens. But what the younger generation need, that is what is my concern. More than, talking about the topic that you were mentioning, I think I would like to speak about this. The future generation, they want good universities here. They want good job opportunities. See, here, most of them sitting are in the corporate houses with regards to software jobs. So they are proudly able to say the percentage of changes that they are able to make. But we are coming from hardcore engineering, normal background. When compared to a software professional, as soon as he's out of the college, he's paid 70,000, But when a structural engineer comes out, he's paid 20,000. What is the disparity? What is the life change, right? So everybody wants to shift to that. So there is a imbalance. How many of them can become entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurship doesn't come that very easy, To take that first step is a little difficult. There may be 100 people to hold our hands, but it's all here how we take it. So what are we doing for the younger generation? What are the lessons we are leaving? So that is very, very important. And the education, if I have to tell you with statistics, 36 government schools being closed every year in one state. So what are we losing? Can everybody afford to go to an international school? Can everybody afford to go to a CBSE school? No. Education should be made public. Healthcare should be made public. Why aren't we still doing that? Tendulkar, I do agree, we have to enjoy the journey. But today's children don't want that. They say, wo aapka generation hai. For us, we need success. We need victory. We need billions. And they don't talk in lakhs, crores, all that is gone. It's all brilliant, trillion, you have to sit and calculate. The CTO...
That's why I was looking at you.
Exactly. If you had seen my video, the little child who joined me at 8th grade, who's the CTO now, yesterday he says, ma'am, I think, it's high time, aap chairman ban jao, I will become the CEO because I know how to take the vision forward. See, they are that fast. With a VC, with everybody, they know the projections, how to, all this, we have to accept that we need to create something huge for them. They do not want to accept and be happy with little successes. They want huge. And when we are bragging about having a youthful population, what are we giving to the youthful population? Are we giving them that wholesome growth? We are not able to provide them that wholesome growth. अरे यार एक केक है आधा आधा खा लो नो एक केक नहीं है तो तू क्यों पैदा किया जाके खरीद के लेके आओ दूसरा केक that is the generation now. So for them we need to give them more and more. And when there are so many addictions, so many diversions, right? And we are seeing about drugs. And this is all, people say that China, the Western countries rightly said they are importing from India. The Japanese consulate personally said, Madam, can you send good undergraduates to our country? We are prepared, even our girls will marry them. We'll give them citizenship directly. Honestly, this had happened. Because Japan is growing old very fast. So they want Indians. Everywhere they want Indians because of the brain. Now, if you are going to export all these Indians, what is India going to do? So we need that, extra, ever-ready extra power. Only if that battery is there, the children will remain here. Otherwise, they'll say, आप रहो, आपका शांति रहने दो, आपका कल्चर रहने दो, आप पगड़ी पहनो, कुछ भी पहनो, मैं जा रहा हूँ. मैं ब्रिटिश एयरवेज, मैं पकड़ के मैं जा रहा हूँ. Not funny, but it's hurting. Yeah. Because the amount of LORs I give every year, it pains. I keep telling, Bacha, please, aajada, tumhara desh hai. Yeah, ma'am. Till they take the LOR, they are like, yes, ma'am, we'll come back. 3 saal ke baad. Ma'am, I've been placed here. I'm getting this kind of $1. My lifestyle is this. My car is this. I have a no nonsense in paying my taxes, my this. So they are segregating, they are alienating from their family, they are alienating from their culture. We don't want this. So what we have to do, build universities like Stanford, get the professors from there, attract all of them. IITs can't do, because IIT itself is 140 in world ranking. So we cannot be happy with IITs anymore. And IIT produces only for America. Yes, I'm sorry to say, we are proud in saying Sundar Pichai is Indian. Sundar Pichai comes here and he says, oh yeah, where are my billions? That's it. Oh, Madras, I was there in Madras when I was +2. That's all. We keep talking about Kalpana Chawla. Kalpana Chawla is an Indian born, that's it. If you're not a US citizen, you don't fly the spacecraft. So what are we doing? Paida karke we are bejoing, and we feel proud. Oh, my son is in America, my son is in Europe. No. Give all the facilities here. Make them be here. Strong roots we need. And this is the time. Hold on. I'm sorry, but because I deal with children, I know the emotions of children, and they just blatantly put it on your face. They're not bothered. You're not doing me a favor. You're a mother, fine. But you're not doing me a favor, it's your job. Did we speak like that to our parents? Ma, for us it's like, ma, you know? For them it is like, okay, you're a mom, fine.
I love the passion with which you brought that out. And so far what I've heard in terms of the opportunities and challenges and lessons learned, Yogesh, you talked about navigating and dismantling red tapeism. You're talking about building better, stronger foundations here in India so that we can hold on to the people, the future of India. You talked about the resilience that we bring, we already come with, and we've seen the successes. And thank you all for sharing all these perspectives.
One more pointer, please, this was there a long time inside. Okay. Let me just bring this out. I'm sorry, everybody. Even to the armed forces. How many of us here do we tell our children to get into the armed forces? Acha pado, engineer bono, only that. Armed forces lack jawans, and only Punjab, Haryana, state of little bit of Kerala and Tamil Nadu, only they are producing jawans. If you tell your child to become a jawan, who will go to Siachen? Who will go stand there?
No, have you heard about Satara? So actually the problem is, I'm not disagree with her, but the problem is this metropolitan mindset, because there are still Maratha regiment is only they are producing. No, it's not like that. There are so many. Even if you apply for NDA, you will not get admission, right?
Sir, I was an NCC cadet.
No. NCC is everyone. NCC, NSS is.
It's not common, sir. For the NDA is the first beginning.
No. I'm just saying that there are very tough competition there. It is not easy to get officer. It is not easy to get
talking about the aspiration of a child.
Yeah. There are so many. It's not like that.
In comparison, when we talk, how many of the fathers and mothers are willing to send their child to army is my only question.
Yeah, why not? There are so many.
So I do.
In statistics, so many we can say. Statistics.
So that's why this the new scheme they launched, right?
Agnipath is not the answer.
No, I'm just saying. So many.
Agnipath is not the answer.
This is turning into another debate.
We need true armed forces, because every year for defense we are spending huge chunk of money. Why are we spending? Are we going and fighting with Pakistan, who's already dead? Sri Lanka is already dead. Maldives will never come. We are spending so much of money for that, for defense. Why are we spending so much money? Rather, we can do for the infrastructure and for the education of the country and for the students.
I will convey a message to Mr. Modi when we meet next time.
I told him this directly. When I met him, I told him straight away.
I do have to get it here. I'm sorry. Thank you both.
बीच में एक ग्रुप एक्चुअली मैं आज भी मैं गांव में देखता हूँ ना, तो एक जैसे एक जवान भर्ती हो ना, तो उसके लिए लगभग 100 लोग ट्राई करें कि ट्रेन हो रहे, क्योंकि उनको ये वाला जो आईटी सेक्टर है या बाकी यहाँ की फैसिलिटी एजुकेशन वो नहीं मिल रहा है, तो वहाँ पे उन लोगों को कंपटीशन है, वो अभी जवान के लिए भी ट्रेन हो रहे हैं.
वही कह रही हूँ, गांव के बच्चे खाली इसके लिए बने क्या, पुलवामा के लिए बने क्या, क्यों मेट्रोपॉलिटन के बच्चे क्यों नहीं जाके खड़े हो सकते?
ये पॉइंट है. यस,
मेरा क्वेश्चन वही है, गांव के बच्चे क्यों जाके आर्मी में भर्ती होना? वो 100 नहीं 1000 लोग मालूम है.
Thank you. I get that. No. The point here is, though, the opportunity, so that you bring up, this whole discussion brings up another point, is the two Indias. We talk about that, right? We talk about India and Bharat. That's the discussion I've heard. And so there's two Indias, and there's two different experiences. The city or the metropolitan experience, and the rural or the semi-urban experience.
एक्चुअली एक एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ. जब मैंने गांव में ऑफिस चालू किया था, तो उनका एजुकेशन कुछ भी नहीं था, जस्ट 12th या 10th वाले थे, लेकिन आज वो इंटरनेशनल क्लाइंट हैंडल करते हैं मेरे डिज़ाइन में। तो ये उनका पोटेंशियल है कि वो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, गांव के बच्चे कुछ भी कर सकते हैं।
मेरे टीम के जो बच्चे हैं, आप अगर वो वीडियो देखते हैं ना, मेरे 2 टियर और 3 टियर, पल्लपट्टी आप अगर गूगल करके देखोगे ना, पल्लपट्टी करूर के बाजू इतना छोटा है, मेरा सीटीओ उधर से है, इंटरनेट नहीं मिलता है, सुबह को 5 बजे नहीं, रात के 2 बजे से 5 बजे तक हमारा मीटिंग्स होता है सैटेलाइट का कैसे बनाना, वो भी छत के ऊपर 3 4 ऊपर चढ़ के बात करना पड़ता है। लेकिन क्योंकि वो बच्चे इतने एम्बिशियस है, हमें आगे आना है करके बहुत एम्बिशियस है, बट यहाँ पे ना ये सोफेस्टिकेटेड जो लोग हैं ना, मैं उनके बारे में बता रही हूँ, तो ये लोगों को वो हार्ड वर्क पता नहीं है अभी तक, देश को इजीली नहीं लेना चाहिए।
So that's another opportunity that we are talking about. That
so probably I will try to bring it to
and this
more of what we are into.
We are doing a time check here, so we have probably 3 minutes left. So I'm going to transition to parting thoughts. 30 seconds.
So we are not doing and it's not our job to do policy making. What we can do is policy for ourselves. And in our lives, there is a lot of vulnerability, ambiguity, uncertainty. All of those things are there. Right? So what is it that we can do to change? So be the change you want. So if I can use technology to make my life simpler, make my life better, there are more people who will extend it even further, and there are other policymakers who will do that. So those are the things that we will be able to employ and achieve, right? So since you said there is a lack of time, in all of these things, artificial intelligence is going to play a big role. If you want to see how it goes, some demo and how it will be transforming everything, see Salim tomorrow. He's going to do some demo. I was going to talk a little more about it, but you said a time check.
Thank you so much, Abhijit.
I have the mic, I can go next.
Yes, so I also want you to share, if the audience doesn't take away anything else from our conversation, what's the one thing you hope that they would?
Yeah, so I think, so I was doing my little research before I actually to prepare this particular panel, right? So few things that I noted down, and there was some comparisons done between India and China and few other countries. So one thing is very clear, we are a technology leader when it comes to Bharat as a nation. Second, our core strength has been service industry, and that is where we have been growing. But where we have a huge potential, and I think that is something which is related to many other things, is manufacturing. And I think, and that's where that whole, +1 concept really came after China who, right? So during pandemic, there was a huge dependency on China in terms of manufacturing of pretty much everything and anything. And that's where their economy really grew from whatever it was to $20 trillion. So I think manufacturing, if we want to really up that game, then obviously it requires tremendous amount of investment in our infrastructure. Because I was also reading some statistics about, the benefits of having the right infrastructure, which can be not just the bullet trains, but even the right roads, all the rail and all other infrastructure end to end. The edge that China got because they have a phenomenal infrastructure in that country. Absolutely phenomenal. It can beat any Western country. That itself gives them almost 3 to 4% of the overall so-called transportation and all that cost. And that's the benefit that if we want to reap those benefits, I think we need to super invest in infrastructure. And lastly, the research. Because we can't just be a manufacturing hub, but I think unless there is good amount of investment in research, it should lead to also good amount of innovations and manufacturing, and with a backbone of infrastructure. So that should be, I think, a good recipe for us for the future.
Thank you so much, Manoj. Dada Sahib, Yogesh, and then Dr. Srimati will close us out. No. Dada Sahib, what about you? What do you think? What's your one takeaway for the audience?
आई थिंक मुझे ये एक जैसे हमारा अभी डिस्कशन चला एक गैप है तो हमें कुछ तो करना चाहिए लाइक जैसे हम लोग इस माहौल में आ चुके हैं तो एक थर्ड मतलब जो टीयर सिटी है तो उनके लिए क्या जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी दे सकते हैं या उनको कैसे इस फ्लो में ला सकते हैं तो ऐसा कुछ हम लोगों ने टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू या और जैसे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के थ्रू जैसे रोड वगैरह बाकी ट्रांसपोर्ट बन रहे तो हम लोग ऐसे कुछ वे पॉलिसीज नहीं बना सकते लेकिन कुछ तो ऐसा स्मॉल थिंग्स कर सकते हैं कि जो उनको इस फ्लो में लाने के लिए काम करना
To
चाहिए
bridge the gap between the two.
हाँ ये गैप कम कर सकते हैं
Thank you. Yogesh.
Yeah. As I said earlier, like no matter how small you are, but if you have a right intention, so automatically things will fall in place. So don't expect from anyone like he will come and rescue me. Try to build yourself, the what changes you want to build in the society. Try to be that person first, and automatically team will be formed automatically as per your intention and the work. And just go on. तो जैसे हम अकेले निकले थे बट आज हमारे साथ so many people are connected. So I think just go ahead, less expectation and enjoy the journey. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Srimati.
Okay, I think it's a well-learned group here. Everything is in our fingertips. So the one message that I would leave here is love, peace, happiness. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Srimati. All right. Yeah.
Self-reliance and not depending on external standards, setting up your own standards will be something that will take us further.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yogesh, Dada Sahib, Dr. Srimati, Abhijit, Manoj, and all of you. Thank you so much.
And by the way, thank you. You have been a great host.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all of you. I would request you to please be on stage for some more time.
I hope that was very engaging discussion. Everyone brought in a lot of insight and their self-learning experiences. For example, Mr. Yogesh and Mr. Dada Bhai, having a courage to start something in India and, made in Bharat. The space woman, she's creating our kids to the next level of taking the space to the next level. We are already doing good, but she's making sure that, we keep on doing good and best at it. Coming to, some of the points came in that, somehow the learning and the education system needs to be improved. I believe Manoj sir and Mr. Abhijit Delve, they are doing their level best where, the youth comes to their organization or their ecosystem. They are making, they are learning and developing their skills to take it to the next level if they have anything which is missing in the ecosystem of our learning. Thank you so much for bringing all together. I can very easily say that हम हैं हिंदुस्तानी, हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं.
Okay, with this, it is time to felicitate our prestigious panelists here.
I will call upon one of our volunteer, Mayuresh.
So you must have observed during the entire day, as the topic was India Rising, there was young talent around as well, right? So I would like to call upon stage our young volunteers, Avnish and Skyla. So to felicitate the panelists.
Avnish has been very curious since yesterday to meet ma'am. I think you should felicitate her. He is very curious to meet her.
Next.
Followed by that, to felicitate Mr. Abhijit, we will call upon Sudhanshu, who had been a co-volunteer with me to manage all these things throughout these 2 days and prior to that as well. Followed by that,
Avnish, please be there.
Amol Purohit, who had been tracking the reviewers and was one of the track owner for this particular event.
Skyla, I would request you to felicitate Mr. Dada Saheb, please. Thank you. Okay, next comes our moderator. So I would request Ms. Sharvari ma'am, Sharvari Mote from Agile Waters.
Manoj Aptetar, Amul, you can felicitate to Mr. Amul.
Sorry, do we have Mayuresh on stage? Can all of
Mayuresh,
you volunteers
felicitate Yogesh, sir.
be besides them? We need to take a picture. Sharvari ma'am.
I think the volunteers can be there on the stage to have a joint picture.
Please come. Okay.
Please come back, Mayuresh, Amol, Sudhanshu.
Let's have a big round of applause for everyone. All right. So after this most engaging panel discussion, as you have heard about various initiatives we are running under APGI, there is one of the initiative which is Community of Communities, under which, I am happy to, announce that we have onboarded distinguished Toastmasters who will be partnering with us here onwards with APGI. And we do have Sushil Pawar and Dinesh Chaudhary from the distinguished Toastmasters who wants to, give a little bit details about what this is all about. A brief introduction of Sushil. He is a communication enthusiast, a Scrum Master, transformation leader, aerospace engineer, a graduate from universities like COEP, IISc and Symbiosis. He is a writer, thought leader, IT security risk manager. So I would request Sushil to please come on stage and let's hear more about the distinguished Toastmasters from him.
Thank you very much, Pranita. I will request my fellow presenter, DTM Seema Rani and DTM Dinesh to join. And if there are any Toastmaster in this group, can they give a shout out? And can I request them to be on stage? Because I cannot simply keep you away from stage. Please join us. Dear friends, do you know how many thoughts we process in a day? 60,000, whooping 60,000 thoughts we process in a day. But the challenge is, all these thoughts require an end. The end could be communication or execution or communication. So how do we get better at communication when we are using communication right from our first breath to the last one? You are, be in any position, whether you are CEO or a starter or trainee, communication is something you have to excel every day. Toastmaster International is a 100-year-old organization which help you to get better in communication, leadership and communication skills. What we do in Toastmaster is we help each other by giving positive and constructive feedback. In every meeting which we have every week, we have 113 clubs in Pune and Maharashtra, Goa. And out of these, we have more than 2,000 members. So all these members, what they do is they meet every week and they practice communication skills. Feedback is the cornerstone of improvement. But what if you don't get that? Exactly that's what we do in a Toastmaster meeting. You get a feedback on your time, you get feedback on your fluency, you get feedback on the language you use, how fluent and effective, impactful it is. We have set up a booth outside. You can always stop by. What we want is all of you to start your journey towards improving your communication and leadership. and it can start at any given point of time. That being said, if you want to start a Toastmaster club in your organization, then you can reach out to me or Dinesh or Seema or any of these Toastmasters, and they will definitely help you to get a Toastmaster club started in your organization. Anything to be added, Dinesh, Seema?
I just want to add one liner after hearing the entrepreneur track and all the panelists on the stage today. If you realize if you're a Scrum Master or running an Agile in your organization, there are few basic things, right? Communication, facilitating the meeting, continuous feedback, and continuous learning. These are the same thing that we teach or we learn in Toastmasters journey as well. When I started my journey in IT industry, I never spoke English in my school or in college. The first time I spoke English was when I entered the IT industry. And today I give sessions on how to effectively communicate during your business meetings. And that's a journey we all are here for, whether it's Agile or whether it's communication. So if you want to learn, start learning now. It's never too late to start your journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Seema. Great. So you can meet any one of us. We are all Toastmaster ambassadors, and we want you to get started with your transformational journey towards communication and leadership skills. Thank you. Group photo.
May I call upon Anand to felicitate Mr. Sushil. Sir, please. Anand, please come on the stage to felicitate Mr. Sushil. In the meantime, before I start my boring closing notes, just a reminder to every attendees that tomorrow you need to wear the t-shirts which have been provided by us. The black t-shirt, please wear it. Bring your iCard. There will be a quick day 2 attendance which will be happening. Please wear our t-shirt tomorrow. Another thing is the retro boards. The feedbacks are very important for us to do better next time, or maybe tomorrow as well. If you give some feedback for today, probably we will improvise and do something better tomorrow. Please use the retro board. There is a D column, I believe, for the ratings. Please do fill in at least that. Thank you.
And one more thing, there is an invitation for the networking dinner. It's been sent to all of those who have opted for it. So please come to the venue mentioned. And if there are any questions about the same, please reach out to Manju or Vijay.
Time passes by, and for us today, it flew. Having said that, we are closing day 1 of Regional Scrum Gathering presented by Agile Practitioner Group of India, APGI 6.0 2024. We as an APGI group believe and hope that you have liked the session along with Charcha on Chai, with the chuski of chai and cookie bites. I believe it have made you a good conversation, followed by the lunch with the delicacies of dishes. One of the dish probably was spicy, I heard from some of the attendees, but we contributed it with the sweetness of the desserts.
Yeah, and before first of all, very important people for making any event successful is the audience. So, you are the integral part of the success of our day 1 of the RSG 2024. So thank you all of the audiences. It would not have been such a successful event without your presence.
Heartfelt thank you to our title sponsors, Scrum Alliance, for believing in APGI. Your partnership is invaluable to us. You have not only supported the cause, but also made it possible for APGI to achieve new milestones.
Our platinum sponsors, TA to Every, they have the trust and belief which they have shown since 2018. Thank you for your collaboration since then, and we are truly grateful for your partnership.
We would like to express our gratitude and appreciation towards Diamond sponsor Agile Water and Joe Sprints, Silver sponsors Q Trainer Roche, Green Cubator Foundation. Thank you for believing in us and supporting us.
Next comes our great keynote speakers from today, Mr. Anand Deshpande sir and Dr. Srimati Kesan. We don't have words, how great the session was, how great it was to hear them, the energy they brought in at the start of the session. So I would like to say thank you so much for being here with us, and your presence made a significant difference. Thank you.
Thank you to all our speakers to share their wisdom with us, with all of us. The event would have not been successful without you.
The reviewers, without their expertise, we wouldn't have got such a nice sessions, such a nice topics, which have been shortlisted for the event today and tomorrow.
The APGI volunteers, can I have the raise hands?
All the APGI volunteers.
The APGI volunteers have driven us totally in a passion, truly grateful to your exceptional skills, additional time, devotion they have given apart from their personal, professional engagements and dedication towards making this successful.
Last but not the least, the author Mr. Amar Singh and entrepreneurs we got today, Yogesh Shinde and Dada Saheb Bhagat. You really have made a significant difference and the impact on the day today during the event. So thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you once again. शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद. कल सुबह मिलते हैं 9 बजे ब्लैक टी शर्ट एंड लैंडयार्ड के साथ में. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Lanyard gives you a lunch, so don't forget that. Secondly, we have networking dinner. Those who have paid for it must have received an email. If you haven't, please reach out to either of the volunteers here or Manjunath. Okay? Thank you.